G'day, I'm Wild Willy, and welcome to Wild Willy's Wild Outdoors. After I posted my my video last night of the paint can, I got a few emails back asking me different questions about it and where you can get empty paint cans and all that stuff. Any major hardware store will sell them to you next to cheap. It's important, like I said, and I told the people that emailed me last night, to make sure you're getting a can that's never been used before, it's clean inside. But anyways, one of the question was, what happens if I don't have paint cans around the house and I need to cook or heat something up real quick? So here's another idea. I mean, there's lots of them out there. Once again, go on the internet, you can see all kinds of neat ideas on how stuff's made. But anyways, one of the ones that I thought was kind of neat, and I posted it on my favorites site on my webpage, is the pop can stove, the beer can stove, the ethanol stove. There's all kinds of different versions of this. It's very simple to do. All you do is, I was out here and I found a couple pop cans lying around. Unfortunately, there's lots of garbage no matter where you go. And all I did was cut the bottoms off two of them. I mean, this was a real rough job. Cut a bottom off each can. So you got two like this. This can here is going to be the base of my stove. So all I did is I poked some air holes along the bottom there, so when I light my little fire inside, it'll breathe. And the other bottom piece, I punctured through the bottom like this with a knife and got little ventilation, little burners up here. And all it is right now I'm going to use fuel tablets inside. I mean, you could use, if you're outside, you could use pine resin and stuff like that. Inside you could use cotton soaked in Vaseline. It'll get hot. There's all different things you can buy. These little fuel tablets are really cheap, and they burn for 20 minutes on one little tablet. So I'm going to put two of them in here, light them up, put the top back on, and let's see if we can boil some water. Alright, it's been less than a minute now, and already she's starting to go good. The water's starting to steam. It doesn't take long for this to work. The downside is, if you're using these fuel tablets, using them inside, kind of gets out an odor, and you always got to watch out for carbon monoxide. And also the tin can itself is going to get bloody hot. So if you ever had to do this indoors, you make sure you do it on a plate, make sure you do it on a surface that's impervious to heat, because it will get really hot when you do this. Alright, well, it took about 10-15 minutes and I had the water boiling. The fuel tablets are out now. One thing I forgot to mention is it's the vents on the bottom can have to be big. Mine kept on going out on me, so I had to cut the holes bigger in the bottom, bigger vents to get the airflow through. Once I did that, the water boiled in about 10-15 minutes, so it worked, and it worked in a pinch if you had to. I mean, that's just one of the many ways to boil water. There's or even to get light or heat in your house. I mean, there's other ways too. I mean, using candles, and there's a million different ways to use candles, from making candle lanterns, which are very easy to make. Maybe I'll show you how to do that. There's even reflecting the light with candles. People that use two candles in their house when the power goes out, well, you know what? Try using one and just set a mirror behind it. A mirror reflects 90% of the light. So instead of having a candle at this end of the table, candle at that end of the table, just set a candle in the middle, put a mirror behind it, and it'll reflect almost double the light. You can use the candle wax when it's melted down. Get yourself a tuna can, get some perforated cardboard, cut strips of cardboard about half an inch higher than the tuna can, and then line the whole tuna can, wrap it up, roll it up nice and tight as you can get, and stick it into the tuna can, and then melt your wax and pour it on there, and then it'll light and it'll burn for hours. But anyways, that's just one of the things you can do out here if you get stuck or at home. Use a couple pop cans you can find, and what you burn in them is up to you. Also, by having the lids on here, you can also control the flame level. You put the smaller lid on. Let me show you that. You put the smaller lid half on or half off. You can control the level of flame that's coming out of the can. And to adjust that, just move the lid either on or off a little bit, and you can control how much flame does come out. Or if you want, put it right out. That's why it's so important to have the lids with you. I forgot to mention that in yesterday's video. If you don't have the lids, well, you're not going to put out this fire because you're not going to blow on it. To put it out, put the lid on, let it seal, and it'll burn itself out. perfect. Alright, well, you know what? It's got a little messy outside for me. It's cold, it's damp, and it's raining really hard. And according to the barometer, we're going to get some bad weather coming. So I decided to move inside. So I lit a fire, nice cup of tea. I'm all good to go. One of the things I want to show you real quick is the candle lantern. There's all kinds of candle lanterns out there you can make, all different styles, out of glass, out of steel cans, all decorative pieces. This one I use it more outdoors than indoors, but it's very simple, takes 2 minutes to make, not even, and it works very well. What it is you get yourself a pop can, or any kind of soda can, cut it down the middle, then cut 2 slots off to make these flaps here. When you light this candle, I just put a little tea candle in there. It'll reflect the light, especially at night. It does a very good job. And the beauty of this is you can hang this. You can stick it on a string, piece of fishing line, hang it from a tree, hang it from inside of your tent, hang it from a chandelier if the power's out, and it works good. The beauty about this outside is because of these flaps, whichever way the wind's blowing, that's the opposite direction this will face. So if the wind's blowing from behind us, it'll spin it around and the can will be facing out of the wind all the time. It takes 2 minutes to make. And you'll see if you try this at home, you try it at night especially, it'll really light up a room. It does a really good job. The tin can does get hot, so be careful of that. I would put a plate, if you're going to burn it long term, put a plate or something underneath it like I said before. You don't want to burn the house down. But it works very well, and it throws off a lot of light. Alright, one last quick one. There's a lot of stuff out there on how to make oil lamps. Oil lamps, there's so many different designs you can make. Not only can you burn lamp oil, but the best thing, and like I said earlier in my last video about food preparedness, one of the things I carry in my downstairs, I keep at all times, is olive oil or corn oil, something that gives me a lot of good the good fats, the essential fats you need. But you know what? The bonus is too, it makes beautiful burning lamp oil fuel. Now on here, all I got is a simple candle holder. I mean, you can use a tuna can, you can use a jar, you can use a bowl, you can use whatever you want to put it in, long as it's something that's not combustible. Tuna can's a real easy one because you can just leave the lid down, like don't take it right off, leave it down on an angle. But this here is very simple. All I did is poured a little bit of olive oil into the bottom of that candle holder, rolled up a piece of paper towel, let it soak, let it sit for a minute, and now I'm going to light it and it's going to burn for a long time. Very simple. This is paper towel. It's been sitting, it's saturated in olive oil. Lean it up there a little bit. Now, I mean, you're not going to cook anything off there, and it's not going to keep you too warm, but you know what? It gives light, keeps away the boogeyman at night, and that's the whole main job of it. And that thing there will burn for a long time. As long as it's submerged in a little bit of olive oil, and it's sucking it up, it'll burn, and it'll burn. Zero fumes, not a lot of smoke off there, but it does a really good job in a pinch. Oil lamps are so easy to make, so give it a try. Alright, well that's enough for me today. Time to enjoy my tea and let the rest of the day go by nice and slow. So I'm signing off. I'm Wild Willy. Thank you for watching this edition of Wild Willy's, I guess, Wild Emergency Preparedness Outdoors. And remember, keep your head up in the bush. You'll never know what you're going to see.